Welcome to Module 7, week number 7. We are going to go over the module. You can see here we're on the introductory page. I'm replacing this video with this video that I'm shooting right now. Same information, different sweatshirt. We are starting out with essay number 1. We did the workshop. I finally got to actually look at those and grade them. I graded them simply on the amount of pages that were there. I kind of looked at them a little bit, but I know that there's still works in progress. I was impressed by the amount of um, feedback that some people were able to give on those. So I was able to give a few bonus points. So that's always nice. Um, this essay requires quite a bit of heavy lifting. And I know I've already gone over it, but this is going to be due at the end of the week. What we need is a baseline summary of Plato. We need the leveraging of one of the other primary sources, not necessarily requiring a summary. And then we need an argument that is articulated utilizing Plato and that other source, contextualizing the ideas and kind of making a statement or a point, utilizing references, academic, as necessary. So we need the thesis underlined. We need a works cited, not references, not footnotes, nothing weird, just works cited. And it needs to be consistent with the guidelines of MLA, Modern Language Association. So if you don't have those, oh, you also need a grade justification. Did I say that? Underlying thesis, grade justification, MLA. If you don't have those, I'm going to ask you to put them in, and then it'll be late. So be sure that you have those completed. Okay, we've had plenty of time to do this. I still saw some with the with the workshop where it wasn't done, and I thought, well, hopefully they'll get good feedback. But I'm giving you good feedback now. Make sure that you have that information in there. Let's see. Anything else we need on this? There was a handful of AI detection, and I noted AI detection in the comments if that was an issue. Now, if there's like 20%, 15%, 30%. 30% is generally my threshold. That can be incidental. That could come from, work that has been, used as sources. There's ways that that can kind of sneak in. And so I try to provide a little bit of um, leeway in regards to that. I'm not absolute. Every once in a while, somehow it might get in. But when the work's 100%, that's kind of a no doubter. And I'm not sure what happens when you have the majority of the essay turns out to be AI. And I stop short of making any type of accusations. But there's got to be something within the writing process, generally where it's a use of Grammarly, utilization of Google Docs corrections, Gemini pokes in and makes a suggestion. And maybe, a student can look at that and think, well, that's basically my sentence. They just kind of switched a few of the words around and added some punctuation. But in doing so, it may have lit that thing up as AI generated work. And I look at the essays. And so if I'm looking at the essay and I say, wow, the entire thing looks like it was touched by AI, that's a problem. And we need to figure out what's going on and how to get out of that because I can't take AI work. And again, I know that, it's become so ubiquitous that it can work its way in somehow, some way. And so we need to figure out if you have that. I can't take an AI generated essay. It's not what this class is about. We have to have some academic integrity. And so, if it requires us to figure that out, we have to figure it out. Most of the time, students know. They kind of figure out, oh, yeah, well, I started all of my pre-writing work in ChatGPT or whatever, and then I moved it over and started working from there. Well, that's probably going to retain a lot of that AI generation, even though it was considered pre-writing, and everything after that is a ton of work. And that's the frustrating thing about it. I have no doubt that the majority of these essays have a ton of work involved with it. And even if you just let Grammarly come in with a magic wand and touch up a few sentences, it can change it to a degree where all of a sudden it all rings as AI generated. And as an instructor or an institution, we can't tell where the AI, stopped and where the student picked up, or where the student stopped and where AI picked up. I'd rather see comma splices. I'd rather see funky grammar that we can work on together than anything that's been, kissed by AI. So let's just avoid that altogether. All right. So the essay, it's going to be due at the end of the week. That's where we're at. We have M7 OER, building your case with issues, analysis, and contentions. This is an extremely important OER. This touches so many of our student learning outcomes. So we are going to be leveraging this OER with the next reading. So I'm going to come back and look at this in just a moment. But it has quite a bit about a lot. So we're going to be applying it. We move on to a primary source, which means this may or may not be utilized in essay number 2. This is Bertrand Russell's Why I Am Not a Christian. This is not an attack on Christian beliefs by me. I don't want anybody to think this. This is an excellent essay as it models so many amazing things. Bertrand Russell is the master of the topic sentence. He lays out every paragraph with an absolutely cool topic sentence. So, from that standpoint, if you're keeping score at home and trying to figure out topic sentences, this is a fantastic piece of writing to kind of look at. I don't like that he breaks things up with like his little subtitles. That's not academic, but he's not necessarily trying to be academic in the sense that he's just laying out his treatise and why he's not a Christian. In academic writing, we don't use subtitles like this unless you're writing like a 20-page paper, unless you're writing a thesis or something like that, then maybe the rules shift a little bit. All right, there's always exception to rules. Like a thesis statement shouldn't be a question, but you might go into like, a scientific study where you're trying to answer a question and you're thinking, wow, I thought thesis statements weren't supposed to be questions. Well, if that's the whole purpose of that scientific inquiry, the rules change a little bit. But with this, the main point of it is it's an excellent paper. It lays out quite a bit of claims. I'll let you decide how he utilizes evidence. In this case, it's a lot of argumentation. But he is a primary source. He is an excellent writer, and I don't necessarily agree with everything that he says. I always believe that there's space for religion, regardless of what any type of philosopher, critic, agnostic, theologian may argue. If it's a matter of faith, it's a faith-based religion. If it was proven as absolute scientifically, then it wouldn't be a faith-based religion. So anyway, more on that later. Let's go on to the assignment, the analysis of Russell's essay. Now, this is going to ask for a brief summary of Russell's essay. This is worth 75 points. Do your due diligence. You don't have to go down every single rabbit hole, but you do need to lay out the major facts. We're looking at this as an argument, so you're thinking about the major argument, the thesis, and then the underlying supporting ideas that are within that. We'll come back to that because there's going to be an illustration within the OER that kind of explains this. Then you're going to gauge the effectiveness of his argument using M-7 OER, building your case with issues, analysis, and contentions. This is a little bit of heavy lifting. This is worth 125 points. So you do need to dig into the OER and really analyze this. Now, if this is 2 pages, 3 pages, that's fine. If you finish this with half a page, you didn't go far enough. What you're looking at specifically is the application of this OER to Russell's piece. So you're looking at what are the assumptions and inferences that Russell is addressing or making. How is he challenging our assumptions? What assumptions is he assuming that are being made? What are the main issues? And some of this is kind of the stakes of the argument. If you're thinking about the issues, why is it so important that Bertrand Russell tried to convince anybody else that they shouldn't be a Christian? Who cares? If that's your belief, fine. Russell, go have your belief. But if you're thinking, I have profound beliefs I need to share with others, so maybe I can unshackle them from the beliefs or the yoke of Christianity, okay, that's cool, I guess. But now you're actually making an argument. You're actually trying to compel other people. And what are the issues with that? What's at stake? Why would I even care about that? All right, the 7-stock issue of a policy claim is not really anything that we need to worry about. You can look at it, you can evaluate it, you can think about it. Is there an issue where we have policy claims that Russell is kind of getting into? I'm not asking you to go above and beyond and think about how religion might be or may not be applied to current governmental decisions. So we're not getting into that. Look at the contentions. Think about how Russell is dealing with that. Um, and then this is that illustration that I wanted to discuss. And this is a large portion of this where you look at the roof, the beam, the pillars, and the foundations. This is all like the roof is the claim, the beams are the contentions, the pillars are the reasoning, and the foundations are the evidence. This should largely show up in your summary. The analysis of this should show up down in the analysis. So these are the areas that I really want you to concern yourself as you're applying the OER to Bertrand Russell's ideas. This is 125 points. So I'm not asking for 5, don't do 7, don't go crazy, but dig in and do a thorough evaluation considering the ideas of the OER in consideration to Bertrand Russell's piece. Again, Bertrand Russell's essay is going to be something that we utilize for the next essay. All right. If you have any questions, please drop by the office hour or email me, and we are going to have a fantastic week. I can just feel it. Thanks.